story time about how I set up my boyfriend to cheat on me so that I could break up with him. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. I'm at the airport, so I'm sorry if it's noisy. My boyfriend and I have been together for way too long. When our relationship first started, I was constantly chasing him. He never wanted a relationship and basically didn't want to commit to me. So basically, he was trying to be an F-boy while he was with me. And of course, I let him do whatever he wanted because I was too afraid to lose him. I didn't want to be that annoying, nagging girlfriend, so I just never said anything to him. Fast forward 5 years. I've had a huge glow up since we started dating. I lost weight, I got super fit at the gym, like I have abs now. I opened up my own nail salon, and I even got myself a car and a house. Well, let's just say that he stayed the same. In fact, he has no ambitions to getting a better job or anything, and it really annoys me. He started talking about getting married, and I was like, hell nah. But I don't know how to tell him that I don't want to be with him anymore. I mean, I love him, but I just don't want to be with him anymore. And because I'm too much of a coward to actually break up with him, I set him up to cheat on me. I found this girl on Instagram and I told her to DM my boyfriend. He DM'd her back. Part 2 is up. Part 2 of how I got my boyfriend to cheat on me so that I could break up with him. So I got this girl on Instagram to DM him. And this girl was totally his type. Basically, she looked like me but with blonde hair. So she sent him a little DM. He wasted no time and he got back to her. That same day, they set up a freaking date. So I told this girl that all she had to do was go out with him. Like, meet him at a restaurant, but that was it. Little did I know that she had a crush on him. And it makes sense now thinking about it because my friend recommended her, and my friend afterward told me that she actually had a crush on him. A few days later, she sends me a picture of him sleeping in her bed, without a shirt on. And she basically tells me everything that happened. So now, I have all this proof. But guess what? I actually got really pissed. It broke my heart because I didn't expect him to do that. And he was totally avoiding all my calls and messages. He finally came over to my house, and that's when I showed him all of the receipts. All the pictures and messages between him and the girl. That's when he told me that she drugged him and forced him into doing it. Of course, I knew that wasn't true. Then he pulls out a ring and asked me to marry him. That's when he got on his knees and started begging. Part 3 is up. Part 3 of how I set up my boyfriend to cheat on me so that I could break up with him. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. As he's begging on his hands and knees for me to marry him, that's a call from the girl that he cheated on me with. He puts the phone in his pocket and he started acting all nervous, so that's how I knew. That's when I told him to show me his phone. Then he ran to the bathroom and threw it into the toilet. Then he locked himself in my bathroom and basically begged me for 3 hours to stay with him. Told me that he would never be able to find anyone as good as I was, and that he loved me and blah 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 blah. At this point, I told him I was going to call the cops to get him out, but I just couldn't bring myself to it. I really felt bad for him. I mean, after all, I did set him up. He eventually left and I didn't speak to him for a few weeks. A few days ago, I actually started talking to this new guy. He's been super flaky, and every time we decide to go out, he always bails. So now I'm thinking maybe I should take my ex back. He sent me flowers, but I've been trying to ignore him. But my parents don't want me to get back with him. Part of me thinks that he was probably already cheating on me. I mean, he DM'd that girl really quick. I honestly don't know what to do, and I'm even starting to feel guilty about what I did. At the same time, he totally shouldn't have cheated. What do you guys think I should do?
My friend tried to steal my legendary fidget at my sleepover, and I caught her. It was my birthday, and I was so excited. I had all my friends over to have a sleepover. They all brought their fidget toys, and we planned to do fidget trading and a lot of fidget toy related games. We spent the night watching movies, eating pizza and cake, and best of all, shopping on Amazon. We found a bunch of cool new fidgets, and I even ordered some using the birthday money I had. It was around 1 in the morning, and we were all watching a movie and falling asleep in the living room. I had all my fidgets right beside me. I fell asleep and woke up the next morning. I said good morning to all the girls that were up and noticed my legendary fidget was missing. I had no idea where it went and searched all over for it. After almost 20 minutes of looking, I realized I may not have lost it. It may have gotten stolen. I asked all the girls if they had seen or touched my fidgets. They all said they hadn't seen it. I remember my friend Ashley was in love with the fidget that was missing. She could not stop playing with it last night, so I was a little suspicious that maybe she took it. I asked her and she said she hadn't seen it. I was still looking and my friends were getting picked up. As Ashley was about to leave, I noticed an
So when I was a sophomore in high school, I had this teacher who would only let the students in her class use the restroom 1 time per semester. Well, one day I raised my hand and I was like, excuse me, I don't remember her name, can I please use the restroom? And she was like, no you can't because you've already used the restroom in my class this semester. Well, excuse me, you can't dictate my bladder. So I'm like all frustrated, and I started secretly texting my mom because I wasn't allowed to use my phone in class. And I was like, Mom, I'm sitting in class right now, my teacher won't let me use the restroom. And she was like, I'll take care of it for you. And I was like, okay. So like 5 minutes goes by, and all of a sudden my teacher's phone starts ringing. And she walks up to it and answers it, and she's like, hello? Yeah. Okay, thank you. And then she walks up to me like so angry and she like slams the pass on my desk and she was like, since you have to go that bad. And I was like, yeah, I really do. Thanks. And I got up and left. I didn't even have to go to the bathroom. It was just the principle of it. I just roamed the halls.
This is a story on how I am traumatized till this day to go to my friend's house. So this brings us back to 2021. Before we continue, I'm just gonna name my friend Ella. But anyway, me and Ella were literally addicted to video games, and I mean addicted big time. Also, keep in mind when I say 2021, I mean the day before 2022. Me and Ella were addicted to this specific game called Fortnite. She had literally been crying about the skin that she really, really wanted. I kept on telling her to get over it because it was too expensive. And neither of us had that kind of money. Well, I did, but I didn't want to spend that much on the game. About a couple of days later, me and Ella had planned a sleepover. And the sleepover was at her house. When we were at her house, the first thing she did was take me to her room and literally turn on Fortnite. When we planned a sleepover, I thought she meant like going swimming, going out to eat, or something like that. But I get it, because she really loved Fortnite. And not even 30 minutes in, Ella took me to a whole list of stuff she wanted to buy. It was around $200 to $300. And she bought it with her dad's credit card. And about 20 minutes later, this is part 2 on how I'm traumatized till this day to go to my friend's house. Literally 20 minutes later, after Ella had purchased a whole list of items worth of $200 to $300 on her dad's credit card, all of a sudden you just hear a guy yell as loud as he can. And that guy was Ella's dad. And not gonna lie, he scared me. I thought someone was breaking into their house. And when I tell you I'm scared, I mean like I was about to grab my stuff and run out of her house. The words Ella's dad yelled were, "Ella, come here now!" Well, it wasn't that calm. It was a little louder. Ella knew what she did was very wrong, and she surprisingly hid in her closet. Her dad called her multiple times to his room, and she did not come out. Honestly, if that were me, I would do the same. But she left me on her bed, and the screen on her TV was all the items she bought. And it kind of made it seem like I purchased them. I had to think fast, and I did not know what to do, so I quickly ran under Ella's bed. And of course, it took time because I had to make room under her bed. With the corner of my eye, all I saw was an angry man coming out with a belt.
Time about how I stole my best friend's boyfriend. So a little background information, I was 14 and in 8th grade. And we're going to call my best friend Ashley. Ashley was really nice at first. She always had my back when I needed her. But then out of nowhere, she started being super rude to me. She turned into one of those pick-me girls that would always make fun of you in front of other guys, talk crap about you to the guy that you liked. Well, the one day I hear her talking shit about me whenever we were in class. And everybody could hear her. She was literally on the whole other side of the class. And I asked her, hey, like, why were you talking about me? She was like, no, I was talking about a different girl. And I had a pretty unique name, so I was like, who else in the school could you have been talking about? But I just brushed it off. Well, then we were in algebra class and I heard her talking shit about me again. How I do my makeup so bad and I can never get a boyfriend, like I'm so ugly and all that stuff. Well, she thought that I wasn't mad at her, so she came up to me the one day and was like, OMG, I have a boyfriend. Like,
This is a story of my evil babysitter. So it all started when my twin sister and I were a bit younger, around summertime, and we had a summer break, which means we didn't have school for a whole long time. But our older siblings did have school because they went to summer school. So our parents hired us a babysitter. Let's just call our babysitter Abigail, because I don't want to call out her real name. Abigail was so fake. She was always nice to me and my twin sister around our parents until they left that door. She was a total different person. Also, keep in mind, my parents' #1 rule was to never invite anyone without letting them know. And Abigail broke that rule several times. So one day, me and my twin sister were on the couch, and Abigail was in the kitchen. And we heard the doorbell ring. We didn't think much of it, we just assumed that Abigail had ordered pizza. But when the door opened, it was not a delivery man. It was a boy around Abigail's age. And Abigail was around 18 and 19 years old. She let the guy in and told us to go to our room, and to not say a word. Also, me and my twin sister were young at that time, so we did not have a phone. But what we did have was a tablet. So we ended up...
story time about how I ruined my ex-best friend's relationship and reputation in 2 days. So a little background information, I was 14 in 8th grade. I was in a very toxic friend group of 3, and we all secretly talk crap about each other. So 2 of the girls in my friend group decided that they didn't want to be friends with me anymore for absolutely no reason. The one girl texted me saying, I don't want to be friends with you anymore, and then the other girl literally just played along with it because she can't think for herself. She was like, yeah, I've been planning on doing this for like 2 weeks. So I got very embarrassed by this because they started going around the school telling everybody about it. And not to sound like that person, but I was really popular. I had a lot more friends than them, and the only reason why people liked them was because they were my friends. Anyway, so I started texting the boys that they liked, and I was like, hey, I think you should know that they've been talking to other people while they're talking to you. And I just thought that that was really wrong. And when they asked who, I gave them names of boys that they both used to talk to. And then when the girls texted me about it, like for part 2,